Here's what we'll cover in this London system lesson. First, the baseline theory, the main line you need to know. Next, why every one of these moves actually works. Then, the key variations you're likely to run into. And finally, a common beginner mistake and exactly how to punish it. The London system is the easiest strong opening you will ever learn. One setup played against almost everything. But there is one rule that makes it work, and if you break it, the whole thing falls apart. d4 grabs the center, and it opens the diagonal for the bishop on c1. In most openings, that bishop sits stuck for ages. In the London, it is the whole point. Watch it. Black mirrors. The pawn on d5 controls e4 and stops white building a big center. This is the most common reply and exactly what the London is built to handle. The knight takes its best square, covering e5 and supporting d4. And notice what white has not done. The e-pawn has not moved, so that bishop still has a clear road out. Black develops and covers e4. Natural moves both sides, dead level. This is the London right here. The bishop steps outside the pawn chain before e3 locks it in. Bishop out first, pawn second. Play e3 too early, and that bishop spends the whole game buried. Black hits back. c5 attacks d4, and d4 is the anchor of the entire setup. This is how strong players challenge the London, so you need an answer ready. Now e3 is right. The bishop is already outside, so this pawn blocks nothing. It props up d4 and frees the bishop on f1. Same move, 3 moves later, and now it works. A second attacker. Now d4 is hit twice and defended once. White cannot ignore it any longer. And here is the glue. c3, d4, and e3 hold each other up. d4 is defended twice, and black can never chase it away. This triangle is the shape you want in every London you play. Black's most annoying move. The queen hits d4 a third time and looks straight down at b2, which is completely undefended because the bishop that guards it walked off to f4 on move 3. This is where most beginners throw the game away. Black has just asked a question with that queen. Answer it wrong and the game is over. We'll get to it. The aggressive cousin. Instead of the quiet knight to f3, white throws it to c3, hitting d5 straight away and keeping a fast e4 break in reserve, which the normal London can never really play. Black develops and adds a defender to d5, the most common reply. And out comes the same bishop, still outside the chain. Whatever version you play, this bishop always beats the e-pawn out. That rule never changes. Black reinforces d5, though it does shut in the bishop on c8 for a while. Here is the difference. The kingside knight is still at home, so white can follow with f3 and e4 for a big center, or jump into b5 to hit the weak c7 square, far sharper than the quiet version. This one is all about move order. The bishop comes out on move 2 before the knight. You get your key piece to its best square before black can ever poke at it. Black develops and takes aim at e4 as usual. The pawn follows, and again, only after the bishop is safely outside. Black hits the center, same as before. Different move order, same challenge. And c3 rebuilds the exact same triangle with the bishop outside on f4. Different route, identical destination. That is why it is called a system and not an opening. Back to that queen on b6. There is a pawn sitting on c5 that looks completely free. Watch what happens when white reaches out and takes it. It looks like a free pawn, and that is exactly why beginners take it. But look what just left the board. That d4 pawn was the last thing standing between the black queen and b2, and nothing else defends it because the bishop is all the way over on f4. And in she goes. Not just a pawn, she is attacking the rook in the corner, and c3 is hanging too. White has to deal with the rook first, so there is no time for c3. White's best try. The knight develops and clears the way to swing a rook to b1 and chase the queen. Sensible, it just does nothing about c3. So black takes again. Two clean pawns, and the queen is still staring at that rook, so white still has not solved the original problem. White finally kicks the queen, but she just steps aside and black walks away two pawns up, all of it from one greedy grab on move 6. The fix is one move. Do not take on c5. Defend b2 with the queen instead. Queen c2 keeps it level, or queen b3 offers the trade and kills black's counterplay outright.